Page.
Hello people, it is Kate and Dan from Nelson Libraries here to spruce up your self-isolation with some recommendations out of our e-collections. These books we've chosen this morning are women authors, so I picked one of my faves and Dan did the same. My picture behind me is very close up, so you're probably having a bit of trouble reading it, but it is called The Mars Room, and it was written by Rachel Kushner. Now you can pick that up. We've got lots of physical copies in the library, but we do have it on BorrowBox as well, so you can borrow it as an ebook. She was in the New York Times best-selling list, and she was also shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize for The Mars Room. So just from that, you can tell it's a really great piece of literature. When I read this, it made me think of the Margaret Atwood line that dystopias are really about now, and how timely that comment is really too. While The Mars Room is not a standard dystopia by any means, it's a portrayal of a woman who is incarcerated, and I think that brings the dystopian nature of it to the fore. So there are searches, there are shackles, there are babies being removed from their parents and that sort of thing in the prison part of the novel. The narrative sort of jumps back and forth within this book. The main character's name is Romy Hall, so we encounter her in prison. We encounter her in the Mars Room, which was the name of the strip club where she worked before she went to prison. And then we also see her back in her childhood and sort of see what shaped her and made her the person that she is. It's a really kind of wrenching portrayal of growing up poor and female in America. But aside all that, it is very, very funny, and there are so many amazing characters that she brings to light in this book. So while it's heart-wrenching at many times, it's also laugh out loud hilarious, and I would recommend it to anyone. I was trying to think of authors. If you would like these authors, you might like this one. The obvious one is Margaret Atwood. I think if you like Lauren Groff, A.M. Holmes, or Karen Russell, you would probably really like The Mars Room. But generally, if you like character-driven stories that are juicy with social commentary, I think you'll enjoy The Mars Room. So that is my recommendation for today. And again, it's on BorrowBox right now to be borrowed. What have you got,
amazing,
Dan?
Kate.
Yes.
What I've brought along today is, so myself and my partner, we've got this little tradition that on Christmas Eve, we gift each other a book, and we spend the evening kind of reading and and then Christmas morning kind of lazy and reading and grazing and eating and drinking coffee and tea. So this was the book that my partner gave me this past Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. It's really amazing. So it's an Australian author named Heather Oates. It's quite a good writer. Now this is pretty close to my heart because Bruni, as you can see, the title is called Bruni. Bruni is an island off of Tasmania. And it's probably one of the last places in Australia that you can really exist in harmony and balance with nature. It's quite idyllic and beautiful. So the premise of this book, our main character is a conflict resolution negotiator. And she's from Tasmania. She's had international success, but she's been called back to Tasmania to settle some issues that they've been having between the government and the locals. So they're building a bridge between mainland Tasmania and Bruny Island, and a bomb goes off during the construction. So there's a bit of a terrorist act happening. And so she's caught up in this and she needs to find a resolution and a way through all this. But she's got a bit of a conflict of interest because she's the sister of the Premier of the state, and their sister is also on the opposition. So it's kind of a political thriller.
Mhm.
It's a really cool look at families, politics, and secrets, and it really speaks to our times. Some of the things that they bring up is about overpopulation, rising sea levels, and what governments are going to do to be able to negotiate these things as we move forward into the future. I think everyone in Australia and New Zealand needs to read this one because it's quite good. So it kind of fits into this political thriller thing. So if you like, say, James Patterson and things like that, you'll get a kick out of this. It's got that kind of movement. It's very page-turning, lots of reveals, and also fits into this this new burgeoning thing that we're seeing called eco-fiction, which is generally speculative, looking at just into our near future. So if you think of John Lanchester's The Wall, which was shortlisted for the Booker Prize last year, dealing with rising sea levels in Britain. And also another Tasmanian author who's dealt with this is called Rowan Wilson. He wrote a book called Daughter of Bad Times, which is also about sea level rise and displaced humanity and entire nations going missing, and then world governments kind of exploiting that for their own purposes and things. Quite an amazing book. So Bruni fits in line with all of that. And we have this as an ebook on Overdrive. And it's
Excellent. All right, guys, so, you know, we are going to keep making these. We'd love to hear your feedback. If there's anything or any genre that you would specifically like us to talk about, please let us know. We are more than happy to oblige. And yes, we hope to see you again very soon and hope you enjoy the content.
Mā te wā.